Hello, and welcome to the Creative Controller Podcast pre-show. Part of the show you won't hear in the audio-only version. This is the part of the show where we go through and make sure that all systems are go. That includes checking audio, lighting, cameras, making sure all our buttons are set up, etc., etc. So, Twitch is live. Awesome. Right now I'm going through and making sure we are live on the different platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. It looks like we are. Fantastic. And make sure that all systems are go. Okay, close that out. All right, we got to let's turn that off. Good. All right, cameras. We got camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. Fantastic. I feel like the, you know what it is? That's what it is. I'm going to change the user. This monitor that I have here is... Oh, let's see. Guess it's a little more representative of the colors that I have over here. Okay, cool. We got that. Lighting's on. Cameras are good. Audio seems to be coming through okay. Turn that up a little bit. Let's see. No drop frames. Fantastic. We are recording. Spare you the coughing. And today is Saturday. We're doing a special Saturday edition. Saturday, October the 16th. And let's just go ahead and get into it, shall we? All right. Oh, what happened there? Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, here we go. Hello and welcome to episode number 96 of the Creative Control Room podcast, a show for creators, makers, and doers, where my goal is to help you make to the max. I'm your operator, Ryan Hafey, and in this episode, I'm going to tell you about why I'm going to take a little break for a little bit. Let's roll that official, unofficial intro. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the show. This is the Creative Control Room. So we're just going to jump right into the subject matter at hand here, which is I will be taking a break from this podcast for a little while. This is not clickbait or any weird stuff like that. That's what's happening. And I want to get into why. You know, it's funny. I saw a tweet earlier today that was like, don't be the person who says what you're going to do. Just do it. But I guess I feel, you know, there's not a ton of people that watch or listen to this podcast, but I also feel like if I just sort of dip out, and there are even a few people out there who find some value in this podcast and enjoy watching it every week or listening to it, that it would at least make sense to put something out that lets people know, like, hey, I may not be around for, you know, I may not be doing episodes for a little while. So, you know, but anyway, I want to get into the reasons why I'm going to take a little break from this, and also just kind of talk about, you know, what some of my plans are and what I plan to do from here. So really what it comes down to, it's I've been kind of toying with this for a little while and thinking about it. First and foremost, it's becoming increasingly difficult to come up with subject matter for each of these shows. I have a few things I want to mention here, and they all kind of go hand in hand as to why, you know, they all, you know, why these are all reasons. They all sort of relate to one another. But it's becoming difficult to come up with ideas every single week. I talk on here a lot about just all the different stuff that I know. You know, if there's stuff that comes up, current events that I can kind of talk to that's relevant to the stuff we talk about on this show typically, which is anything from photo, video, FPV, podcasting, live streaming, all that kind of stuff, content creation. And it's becoming increasingly difficult as a one-man show every week to come up with new ideas. I've already done shows in the past where I sort of repackage old episodes and old content and old subject matter. And that's fine, but you know, at a certain point, you're just going in a circle. But I also think that the fact that it's becoming so difficult to run out of ideas has brought me to a point where now it's become more of a chore. It's like, oh, you know, I can't, what do I do this week? And it's sort of this whole project, which was really founded on the, you know, on the idea of, or just, you know, just the the desire to have some fun and just sort of hone my skills a little bit and kind of share some knowledge that I've gained over the years. And it is fun. I still like getting on here and doing this, but I now feel an obligation to, it just feels more like a chore than anything at this point. If I could just kind of like get on here and talk, just kind of start up the machine and get going and have enough to say for a half an hour without too much planning and still provide some value to people and kind of interact with some people, then I would definitely do that. I just don't feel that that would be engaging enough or interesting enough for anyone to even care. So at that point, you know, for me, it's not really worth it. So yeah, there's that. The other thing is, and this is also related, I've just been very busy lately. You know, my day job, work in boxing, I've said that many times before, is if you follow boxing at all, you know, we had a massive heavyweight fight this past, or a week ago today. And those big, massive events take up a lot of time. In fact, that's why I skipped the podcast last week, because I had just finished with that fight on Saturday night. Sunday rolled around and I was just mentally and physically drained. So I took last week off. And, you know, we've got two more big fights coming up before the end of the year. And then, you know, a couple other decent fights sprinkled in. So my time is just going to be very, very thin for those periods of time. And I, you know, if most of my time is going to those things, then that means less of my time is going to this podcast. And I don't think it's fair to continue to get on here and act like, you know, I'm excited to do this every week. When, you know, I'm putting together half-baked shows and kind of mailing it in, or at least feeling like I'm mailing it in. So, and then really, you know, the other thing, and this is a result, and this is my only fault. This is only my fault, should say, which is there just really hasn't been a ton of growth for the podcast, and that's fine. But that's entirely on me. I've known that there are things that I could have done over the course of these 95 episodes, this being 96, that there's a lot of stuff that I could have been doing to further the growth of this show. Again, originally it started as a fun project. Just wanted to kind of see where it would go. Again, hone my skills, things like that when it comes to just video and live streaming, podcasting, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I wasn't doing the things that I should have been doing with growth in mind. I mean, and growth was one of the goals. Obviously, like, you know, I'm not going to go out of my way to put myself on the internet and put all this time and effort into this when, you know, even after, at this point, it'll be, you know, over a year and a half, I believe, you know, that there's just not seeing that much growth. So, you know, I've gotten this far, and without seeing the growth, if I continue down this same path and doing this show the same way that I've been doing it, chances are I'm going to continue to see the same level of growth, unless I, you know, want to just, yeah, I don't know. So, I think ultimately those things combined, I just really need to kind of take some time to rethink what I really want to do with this podcast and where I want to go with it. I feel like when I come back to it, I need to have a better plan. I need to have a better layout, some better delivery. and I don't yet have an idea as to what that is. And, I don't yet have the benefit of having a super engaged audience to kind of help me along with that. I think that's one of the advantages. And that was part of the goal too, is, build an audience that you can engage with and bounce ideas off of and get topic matter and, get questions from them that you can answer and sort of have that kind of relationship. And I just failed at sort of fostering that relationship between this podcast and anyone who would be interested in it. Just haven't got the word out. So, again, I don't blame anything. The market's gonna decide the market likes what it likes. And, it's after so long, just haven't gotten to where I guess I haven't achieved a level of where I thought I would be at this point. So, no one to blame by myself, but it's just been kind of a long time coming. When you start a project that's meant to be fun, and for a long time it was a lot of fun. Some podcasts I had more fun with than others, but lately it seems like it's relatively consistently just been more of a chore to sit down and do this every week. And, I've been dedicating only a little bit of time to it, basically the minimum amount I had to in order to put out what I felt was acceptable. And that's just not enough. So I'm not the kind of person to mail it in. And if I feel like something is, especially for an extended period of time, I'm willing to stick with things for a little while. But I like to think at least that I'm self-aware enough to realize when something isn't working and probably long-term won't be as fruitful. So with that said, after this episode, I will be taking a break, and I may pop in every now and then if there's something that, in particular that pops up. I might do an episode here or there. But I think the ultimate goal for this show, if I do come back to it, it's got to have a new look. It's got to have a new feel. I got to get that damn intro fixed and ready. The official, unofficial intro that I've been rolling with for the past however many episodes now. But it's going to have to be something different. I'm going to have to do something different with it. And I have to be willing to put in the time and effort into it. And at this point, just with everything going on, I'm just not. So rather than mail it in for all you people out there, we're just gonna take a little break. But that said, it's not that I'm going away. I forgot to, there we go. So what to expect then from me going forward? Just no weekly shows for a little bit. I may sprinkle some in every now and then if something particularly interesting comes up. I know before the end of the year, I'm looking to buy a new camera potentially. That might be a good excuse to get back on here and talk about the camera that I purchased, little things like that. If things come up, I'll get on here and talk about them. But I also have been really dying to create more content around my main channel again. I want to start making more videos. But again, even that's a delicate balance because I want to create videos. I don't often have the time to do it. And it's very difficult to plan longer form videos and write out scripts and things like that and have the time to record them and everything. So I have some ideas as to how I want to start producing videos. And I just got to get rolling on that. But that's where I plan to go. I also will be streaming on Twitch. I've been doing that a little bit more. I do a lot of FPV drone simulator flying. So if you're into any of that, feel free to follow me on Twitch. It's twitch.com/TCCRP, I believe. So I will be doing that over there. And, I'm even taking a break. I'm even taking a break from client work. I've decided, client work kind of along the same lines, like client work. I just typically don't enjoy client work for a couple of reasons. A lot of the reasons really, a lot of the client work that I pick up is smaller work. it's a few $100 here and there, and it's typically, local event photography, local businesses just wanting like a little, a restaurant, maybe wanting a video for a social media video for their restaurant, whatever. And that stuff is most of the time is just not very interesting. And I have a hard time really getting super interested in those types of projects and wanting to go all out on them. And again, that's not fair to the client if I'm charging them for my services and then not going out of my way to do my best. If there's client work that I can work on that I feel really invested in, like there is a client a podcast project that I work on the side that I produce, and that I enjoy because I'm sort of building that. I really like building things. I like kind of starting from scratch and creating things and bringing things into existence and sort of having that level of control over things. When you work with clients, oftentimes there's some dissonance between the client's vision and your vision. And for me in particular, it's hard to get past that. Like if I do some work for a client and they're not happy with it or whatever, or there's a lot of feedback, again, I just sort of tune out a little bit, and I don't like that. I think my ultimate goal, which I've talked about before, is really just to create a business around, sounds egotistical, but it's not meant to, but like just a business around myself. I'd love to continue to build my YouTube audience and just my internet presence, and continue to help people with tutorials, but expand from there, create some courses, maybe merchandise, whatever down the road. Find ways to create some products that I can send out to the world, things that I believe in, but something that create an environment where I have the control, and then people can I just need to have that level of control. I don't with client work. So yeah, just really in general, a lot of things I've been kind of rethinking, been more stressed out lately and just sort of anxious about life in general. I think a lot of us are with this pandemic. It's been a rough year. So just trying to figure a lot of things out, and I think it's time for a little bit of change. And so really that's kind of where all this comes from. So I have no plan of going away. Just really that's just as far as this podcast is concerned, just taking a little break. So that's really it. No other updates. I was going to talk about the fight from last week and kind of recap that. I think it's a little overdue for that, but it was an amazing fight. Got some really cool photos. If you want to see them, check me out on Instagram at Ryan Hafey. But I think I'm going to go ahead and call this one done. So whether I'm here or not, keep on creating, making, and doing. And I will see you in the next one, whenever that happens to be. Bye-bye.